And only on News 13, neighbors around an Asheville homeless center are fed up with vandalism, drug use, and dealing just feet from their properties.
They say city leaders have ignored their pleas for help for more than a year. Now they want the AHOPE Center on North Ann Street closed. News 13's Kimberly King joins us now live. Kim, you've seen the complaints.
Tammy, this is the email chain, and there are multiple people from the city copied, from all of city council to Asheville's mayor, Esther Mannheimer, and also city manager of Asheville, Deborah Campbell. Meanwhile, for the past year, there have been neighbors in this area that have complained about a myriad of issues around Homeward Bound's property, from public urination to defecation, illegal drug use, fornication, and vandalism going on. Tonight, the nonprofit director has admitted Homeward Bound doesn't have the funds it would take to pay full-time security. This is video obtained by News 13 showing a man smoking what appears to be some kind of drug. Neighbors next to AHOPE say they witness this kind of drug use all the time. This video shows two other people shooting up, inserting a needle in a forearm. Samuel Payne is the longtime pastor of Sycamore Temple Church of God in Christ.
We witnessed break-ins, sexual relationships on the property, defecating and urinating on the front porch of the church. I also had deaths on the property. AHOPE is here. Police is up here, down here constantly.
This is photo evidence of all the needles near AHOPE found by one neighbor who's fed up and wants the day center shut. City leaders from Mayor Esther Mannheimer to City Manager Deborah Campbell, they say, have ignored their constant emails asking for help with safety concerns.
That's one of our biggest concerns, too. We have children here on our lots, and they have their drug paraphernalia, all that stuff. They throw them down.
Have you ever had any conversations with the city manager, Deborah Campbell?
We've written a letter, no response.
Terry Simmons, along with others, have emailed leaders. They want those breaking the law, they say, held accountable.
Dealing drugs, selling drugs, the people coming to and from are breaking the law. They need to be treated the same way. If that were the case, I don't think we'd have an issue here.
I recognize the frustration.
Cindy McMahon is interim director over Homeward Bound that runs AHOPE.
We want to have on-site security, and it is prohibitively expensive. We're looking at probably $10,000 to $15,000 a month in order to be able to provide the security overnight and on the weekends that we need.
Wish they could relocate AHOPE somewhere else. Because our members are afraid to even come on the property.
Now, while the mayor has declined our repeated requests for an interview, in a statement that she emailed tonight, she said that city leaders are aware of specific challenges around the AHOPE Center. She said she has asked the city manager, Deborah Campbell, to reach out to the director of AHOPE. But during our interview today, the director told us that she has already been in conversation with city leaders and that the funds currently are not available for security.
And the Haywood County School District is trying to get students and staff back into classrooms faster after a COVID exposure.
News 13's Rex Hodge reports on its updated plan following a recent CDC change and how it will be implemented.
Haywood County school leaders are supporting the health department's 5+5 COVID guidance. They're hoping it creates an opportunity for keeping more kids in the classroom.
The positive isolates for 5 days, and the quarantine is for those that are close contacts.
Associate Superintendent Trevor Putnam says school board members are following an option provided by the CDC in late December. He says if student or staff tests positive, they isolate for 5 days. If a close contact, they quarantine for 5 days.
Then on the 5th day, staff or student would go and take an antigen test, and that antigen test, were it to be negative, they would be free to return to work and school.
But additional safety measures are to be followed.
The masking is crucial, to continue to wear the mask beyond the 5 days once you're eligible to return.
And Putnam says the mask is to be worn inside schools and outside on school grounds, only removed during lunch.
What kind of reaction?
For those who oppose the mask, obviously this plan would not support their views. And
A different opinion, he says, from those wanting shorter isolations and quarantines.
it accomplishes that.
In some cases, the update plan lets students stay in school after being in contact with a COVID-positive person, depending if the student is vaccinated or was wearing a mask. School leaders adopting the plan now, as COVID numbers, although still high in Haywood, are falling.
They felt like the level of contagiousness beyond day 6 was minimal.
And we will adjust it as we have done throughout the entire pandemic.
Medical Director Mark Jabin says the health department will be watching the implementation of the new policy closely. He says strict adherence is needed for those second 5 days, even away from school.
In that 6 to 10 day period, you shouldn't be going out to gatherings.
Jabin says success relies on vigilance. Putnam says school board members will continue hearing different opinions on things like masks, but he says they want to give this change a try.
But it's something we wanted to try because we acknowledge that every day in the classroom is important.
The next Haywood County School Board meeting is February 15th.
Community leaders in McDowell County believe racial equity work has stalled. The school district has been under scrutiny after a high school teacher was caught on video using a racial slur.
News 13's Caitlin Pinter spoke with community leaders and school officials about what's happened since then.
This all started back in November when that video came out of the McDowell High teacher. Community leaders I spoke with at that time were hopeful that the district would do right in addressing that. Now they say they're not so sure. Leaders with the West Marion Community Forum hope to have had a racial equity statement made with McDowell County Schools by now. That hasn't happened, and they don't know when or if it will.
It angers me because it's been over 2 months.
This is a clip of the video that appeared to show McDowell High teacher Jack Jensen using a racial slur in front of a class last November. The assistant superintendent told News 13 this week that teacher is still suspended, but is being paid.
There doesn't seem to be any resolution in sight.
We spoke with the leader of the McDowell County NAACP who told us he agrees with the West Marion Community Forum and is upset by the lack of response by the district.
Just following up with the superintendent and the whole school board, so what are our next steps? And we've heard nothing from them.
McDowell County Schools declined our request for an on-camera interview on this, but did send us a statement saying in part, the McDowell County Board of Education adopted its most recent strategic plan at the December meeting. One of these strategic goals addresses this issue specifically. By June 30th, 2022, McDowell County Schools will develop a comprehensive plan to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion within our school communities. The statement continuing, in January, the board initiated a subcommittee to focus on the development of this goal. The district staff has also established a working group to support the subcommittee. The subcommittee's first meeting will be later this month. Most recently, the superintendent completed a racial equity workshop that was sponsored by a local community forum, and other staff members have previously completed this training.